Yeah,
which
that's
is
all right.
totally understandable. Okay, I think we're live and streaming at this point, so anything that we discuss will be sent to the world and recorded. Thank you, Patrick. Mr. Rodriguez,
Okay, no problem. It's good to go.
thank you. Good morning. Is that you, Miss Padilla?
Hello, this is Tracy with Melody Ranch. I am on my computer and on my phone,
Thank you,
so
Miss
I can
Padilla.
hear.
Yes, I thought I'd recognized your abbreviation there. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Miss Padilla, I assume we're expecting Mr. Domenici to join as well. Is that correct?
I heard from him this morning that his associate would be joining us, but he is at a funeral this morning.
Okay.
And I believe he's on the Zach Kim.
Morning, everyone, and good morning, Hearing Examiner Schaefer. I'm filling in for Pete Domenici today. He's at a funeral in Espanola.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Good to see everyone.
Okay. Well, it looks like we have, I think, everybody here. Counsel for Melody Ranch, counsel for staff. Ms. Tashino is with us, as is Mr. Zigich. And Mr. Kreinkamp is also here. Also, Ms. Herrera Waldrop from the Office of General Counsel for the Commission. So let's go ahead and get started. It's 11:01. This is case number 25-00054 in the matter of Melody Ranch. And I want to first just express my thanks for everybody taking the time to be with us here this morning during the holidays. I thought it was important to continue our cadence and our rhythm of updates and meetings, as we've discussed, to move the issues forward towards resolution. So I don't know if anybody has anything preliminary to address, but why don't we go ahead and get started with updates from Melody Ranch, and then we can ask staff to update us subsequently.
Sure. And Tracy, do you want to provide the update?
Okay. Basically, since the last time I spoke with everybody, I guess there was the issue with the pump that was unexpected, and then we dealt with fairly quickly. We lucked out. The vendor was able to get right on it. So I know we experienced some low pressure for those couple of days, but because the tank was full due to the tankers coming in, I think we were able to at least get the amount of water needed out. But since then, everything's been functioning fine. as far as that, on that end, everything's been going good. At that last meeting that I did attend, we had discussed getting some results that the state had the extra testing they had done. And so the Environment Department did send that to me, I believe, last week. And so this week they had put it in a nice like flyer form. And it had talked all about the results that the state had done and we had done, and pretty much gave all the updates as far as the pump and it being repaired and all of that. It said it was an update for November, but it really went to, the current date. So I went ahead, they had put it in a flyer form. And so we went ahead and distributed that this week to all the customers. And so as far as updates,
Ms. Padilla, sorry to interrupt. Can I just ask for some clarification? You said they sent it to us in a flyer form. What exactly did they send to you in a flyer form? And who is they?
The Environment Department.
Okay, so the New Mexico.
Because I had asked for those results. Yeah, the New Mexico Environment. We had asked for the results from that extra testing that they had requested, with these water haulings.
Okay.
And so I hadn't seen anything. And so we requested them. They sent it. The Environment Department sent it in a flyer form. And it just kind of spelled out everything that's been happening from November to current. What's happening? Is it safe to drink the water? They're still saying to advisory to boil, just for precautionary reasons. And who's checking the water, when it was checked. The recent issue, like I said, with the pump and how everything's being treated. And what's happening next. So I went ahead and just distributed this flyer as part of communication to the customers, because the Environment Department did put it in this flyer form.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Padilla. Mr. Krankamp, you have something to add?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hearing Examiner. I was just going to clarify. So what you've just heard from Melody Ranch is correct. The Environment Department distributed a water quality status update, I think is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll recall that one of your most recent orders directed staff, I think, to file a written status update. What we had intended to do this week was to attach a copy of that. It's a one-page flyer, essentially, from the Environment Department, essentially summarizing their testing, I think primarily, maybe exclusively for the month of November.
Okay.
And so you will hopefully see that at some point soon.
Thank you. And Ms. Padilla or Mr. Krankamp or staff, what were the results of that testing?
I can speak to that, or if Melody Ranch wants to, you can too. Essentially, what the Environment Department found, they did not find any water quality concerns, but they did say that essentially because the system is still relying on hauled water, and conditions can change, the community remains under a precautionary boil water advisory. I'll also, at some point, Mr. Hearing Examiner, I can get into the issue of chlorination this morning, but they did test that as well.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into that while we're on the subject of water quality and the testing, and just to, I think, keep things organized here thematically.
Okay. So there was a series of emails that were sent out, I think, yesterday. Essentially, in terms of the timeline, so Melody Ranch distributed that update from the Environment Department that I think addressed chlorination, and then there were some responses from members of the community, essentially saying that they had noticed that their water had what they perceived to be, anyway, very high levels of chlorine. And I think you were, Hearing Examiner Schaefer, you were CC'd, I think, on at least some of those emails. What staff did in response to that, so we reached out to the Environment Department. I will say that, the water advisory update that NMED had given to Melody Ranch and staff on the 22nd did note that they had checked in November, I think 18 times at different locations, the chlorine levels, and that those were within safe ranges. So that was, what they had found.
Okay.
Now, We reached out to NMED yesterday when we received these emails from the community. And we did receive an email late yesterday from NMED indicating that, and I'm not entirely sure why, but they indicated that the water chlorine levels were higher for a brief period of time over the holidays,
Mhm.
but they were still within safe ranges, is what I understand. And for whatever reason, that should not be the case now or
Okay.
shortly. So that should be taken care of, but that's the best information that staff has at this time. I don't know if Melody Ranch has anything additional or if they want to say anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Krankamp. Ms. Padilla, would you like to add to any of those details that Mr. Krankamp shared with us?
First of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if I had muted or unmuted. Yeah, and the residents clearly contacted the state before they contacted us on this chlorine issue. And it does happen. It's because when we put in new barrels and the system is cleaned, you know, when we change things, it shoots in a little higher. But we immediately, you know, before even leaving, you know, we test and make sure everything's balanced. But there, when we're changing barrels and whatnot, that is an issue. It's not anything new, and we have always been in those, you know, safe ranges. But as far as from any updates from my operator and employees, you know, everything's been handled. Everything's back to normal. It was due to, you know, the spike due to the switching of the chlorine
Sure.
barrel or whatever it was.
Ms. Padilla, what plans do you have for future periodic testing?
We test as required of us by the state. We continue doing that testing. It's weekly. We make sure everything's done and sent in on time. You know, my guy just checks every time he goes and checks on the system, which is weekly. So again, we really, you know, that's why we have office hours, and we really answer that phone even off of office hours. If there's issues, we've always relied on the customers to call us and let us know of things in advance. And of course, that has kind of gone away. But you know, we definitely ask people to still let us know right away, because that is our first of even knowing when something's going on. And we run out there and we take care of it. And then all this additional testing, we've been working with the guys at the New Mexico Rural Association, and any testing they want, we meet them anytime out there. So we'll continue to do that.
Thank you. Mr. Krankamp?
Thank you, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Yeah, I was just going to clarify that and just add that from what we understand from the Environment Department, there should be additional readings regarding the chlorine levels. We should have that next week. We're not going to have it by the end of this week, but I think that either they've already done some testing or they are doing testing, and we should have that information sometime next week.
Excellent. So just to confirm, the Environment Department will be conducting more tests next week.
My understanding is that they are working with the New Mexico Rural Water Association.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're conducting tests right now or if they've already done those tests, but we were told that additional readings should be available next week.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And I think the answer is both. I think the answer is both. He did some last week. We'll get next week. He's done some this week. We'll get the week after that, because he's continually, as far as I know, my guy's meeting him 2 or 3 times a week out there.
Okay.
So the delay is in getting the results.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other contributions or details from staff or Melody Ranch regarding water quality or testing on this issue before we move to some other points to discuss? Okay. Well, okay. The other update, Ms. Padilla, that we were looking for regards the amount of funds available and the timeline for how much this will provide capacity to the system. And I don't know if you have any anything to share with us there?
Well, I know I had done the calculations for you guys last time we met, and then I gave all the information to the state PRC staff. And as far as I know, they did put out that update saying, from my opinion, it's going to last 3-something years, right? Hopefully, we won't need it that long. But I think theirs came out that clearly over a year, these funds should last. From my perspective, I agree with their result of their, information, and hopefully if they need any information, I'll supply it to them. But I agree with what they came up with, that it should last us a good while.
Okay, great.
Fun.
And thank you for that. And sometimes there will be, I'll just say this sort of for the record, so to speak, there'll be some repetition or maybe redundancy in our updates because, as you know, Ms. Padilla, I'm very enthusiastic and feel very strongly about updates and updating. And this hearing, as it's shared and broadcast on YouTube, is just one other way to have this information shared with the community. So sometimes we might, say things that have been submitted in a report to the commission or something else, but I think it's very worthwhile to also have those details shared through our YouTube channel. So, Mr. Kreinkamp, would you like to add anything to what Ms. Padilla just shared with us?
No, Mr. Hearing Examiner. I mean, I think that the information that staff has provided previously is probably speaks for itself in that regard. I mean, we obviously agree that the current funding should last for quite some time. Obviously, is our hope, and it is our fervent desire that it not have to last
Sure.
for a great deal of time.
Exactly.
So yeah, other than that, no, I don't have any updates.
Okay, great. And I think that's valuable. I think the commission's concern was that it would expire or run out within a 2 or 3 month time frame. So knowing that staff and Melody Ranch have looked into this and calculated on rates of use and see a horizon that is, let's say, a year or so in the future is, I think, sufficient for this update and for this time period. Now, some other updates that I wanted to discuss with Melody Ranch and staff. And Ms. Padilla, I don't believe you were at the last hearing that we had. Maybe you were able to watch it, but again, I emphasize the need to establish a plan of communication, and I'd like to ask you what you've done in that regard to initiate periodic and ongoing updates with the community and just learn a little bit more about what you've been doing and what you plan to do.
Well, I know that we have continually talked about it, and I know that right now, there's not a lot of updates. We did in the month of December send out something in writing from us. Unfortunately, it started with our pump was out, but that was taken care of quickly. But we kind of just, updated on everything else going on. And then our second update was this flyer from the Environment Department. So I would like to continue with updates. Now, for me, the updates happen when I talk to you guys and I learn stuff myself because I have heard nothing new from EMWT, nothing else, from the state, as far as requests from me. So I feel like, I'm in a holding pattern and we're just trying to, supply the water and keep the system functioning. And that's taking up all our time to just keep everybody happy as we can, right? So again, I have no updates. And so, I would like to say every other week, specifically, I feel like for sure a written one can go out. And then on the second one, I could do some kind of, sending some of these updates from the state or again, like this Environment Department update. If they're going to do one for December, I can then mail that out as well. So that's kind of my plan going forward, unless there is a very relevant and new update on behalf of EMWT or the direction we're going, then obviously I would send that out as well.
Sure. So I
Um,
guess, yes, that's really just to put a fine point on it. What I think the commission is really looking for and hoping for is to have an established cadence and rhythm of communication. I think that the commission in many ways puts itself here in the shoes of the customers and the community of Melody Ranch and tries to imagine and think about what the community would need. And like we've said before, sometimes there are no updates, and sometimes that's good. If everything is functioning normally, and in any system, sometimes no updates is a sign of proper functioning. But here, I think that just like you said, every 2 weeks, every other week, have something sent to the community to let them know that you're active and working on things, and that you're there, and that Melody Ranch is continuing to try to resolve the circumstances to restore full service. So whether it's something major that could be updated in the interim, like if there's a leak or if there's a pump malfunction or if there's some testing that comes through, that can also be shared on a periodic basis as needed. But I think it's really important, Ms. Padilla, for Melody Ranch to set up something every other week, on Monday, and send out some descriptions of what's been happening, what's been going on, even if there's no quote unquote update. The value of the update isn't, I think, necessarily a news item, but just for the community to know what Melody Ranch is up to, what staff has been doing with you, what the Environment Department has been doing with you, what the Rural Water Association has been doing with you, what you've had discussed with EMWT, for example. All those kinds of things really, really, I think, make a difference. So I would like to ask that happen on a biweekly basis. And again, the method and the mode of communication will depend and can be multifaceted. It can be text messages, and it can be with WhatsApp, and it can be with emails, and it can be also with mailing. So there's a full range of methods and ways to communicate these kinds of updates and ongoing activities with the community. And I just want to emphasize again to Melody Ranch that it's not the update isn't, again, some new event. It's really about ongoing activity. So maybe we should, instead of using the term update, just have a periodic sharing of ongoing activities with the customers. I think that's really going to continue to make a difference because, again, I'll just say this one more time, this effort that all of us are engaged in, the commission, the Environment Department, staff, Melody Ranch, the potentially other entities that can support or take over the operations of Melody Ranch. All this is requiring a great, like Mr. Bagacco said, it's spinning a lot of plates. So the best way to collaborate and is to foster communication. And so I really wish to continue to emphasize setting just a periodic sharing of ongoing activities with the customers and others. And that's also really why we do these hearings almost on a biweekly basis, Ms. Padilla, not because something major has taken place or some huge change has occurred, but just to keep all of us informed of the ongoing activities, the ongoing efforts, minor things that are happening, major things that are happening. So I really wish to encourage you to see it not as necessary when a major event occurs, but the inherent value of updating situational awareness of ongoing activities. So please, let's start doing that in this Monday in the new year and just getting off on that rhythm. Okay, any thoughts on that from staff or Melody Ranch?
I just want to say I heard you, and that's kind of heard you last time, kind of what we did for December, and we will continue to do so. And thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Padilla. Mr. Kreinkamp?
Thank you, Mr. Herringzamer. I really don't have much to add to that. I mean, staff shares your perspective on this and the desire of the commission for more public outreach. We are still discussing internally how better we can accomplish that. We have these status updates. Obviously, we also have, starting in the new year, the commission has asked for the parties, at least by staff, to be available at every open meeting to provide an update there as well. So that'll be another opportunity to shed more light on what all is going down. Beyond that, I really don't have much to add, but we certainly are interested in making sure that the community stays informed.
Thank you. Yes, and Ms. Padilla, you know, at the same time, we're cognizant of some of the challenges with communication, whether it's mail or not having an email address or all of that. So we really are here to support you and help you reach out to the community in the ways that are needed. So please view the commission and view staff as partners in this effort. Okay, so I guess the last update that I'm particularly curious about, and Ms. Padilla, I think, mentioned it briefly, was whether there have been any updates and discussions with any external entities with taking over or working with Melody Ranch. And Ms. Padilla, I think you said that nothing has really happened, but do you have any sort of details about ongoing activities or meetings or anything minor, major that has been occurring sort of in the background between our hearings here? Would you like to share?
And the last that I heard, Mr. Ortiz from EMWT had asked me for some property owners there in Melody Ranch, because EMT is wanting to buy property, invest in as an investment for Melody Ranch, taking it over. I'm not sure, but that was their plan. So they were looking into and talking to property owners there. And so the last I spoke to him, I gave him some of the property owners' names and phone numbers. And that's the last update I've had from them. Okay.
And I know it is the absolute, literally middle of the holidays, so it's understandable that things have sort of quieted down. But please continue to keep the community and the commission updated. Again, just with ongoing activities, Ms. Padilla, I think that would be very helpful for everybody involved. Staff, do you have anything to share, Mr. Kreinkamp, Ms. Tashino, or Mr. Zigich regarding this issue?
No, Mr. Hearing Examiner, staff does not have an update at this particular status conference as far as the long-term outlook. The last that I think we had heard was that EMWT was continuing to do their due diligence on this. We are as anxious as anybody is to move that forward. So we will do our very best to have an update at our next status conference.
Okay, thank you. And we'll wait for that update to discuss any sort of alternatives or other ideas regarding external partnerships and see what information is discussed or comes to light at that meeting. Is there any other matter that is important to discuss that we should touch on here today? Ms. Herrera-Waldrop, would you like to ask any questions or share anything from your perspective?
Thank you, Mr. Hearing Examiner. I don't have any questions, and I echo everything that you have said during the status conference, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So we don't need to belabor this. As I said, we are in the middle of the holiday season here, and it was important for the commission and for this proceeding, I think, to just keep up with that that rhythm. I think this is beneficial to have those status conferences and share them with the community, the information. So if there's nothing otherwise pressing, I look forward to seeing all of you in the new year and continuing to move things forward. And I would like to again express the thanks and gratitude to staff and to Melody Ranch and to the partners at the Environment Department and the New Mexico Rural Water Association and others who have contributed their time and their effort to working to restore the service to the community of Melody Ranch. And we very much look forward in 2026 to a restoration of service and working with everybody to achieve that goal. So in the meantime, I wish everybody a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And be safe, and I'll see you then. Thanks, everybody.
Examiner. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Hearing
Thank you,
Examiner.
Mr. Hearing Examiner.
Thank you, Ms. Padilla.